Meeting of the Henry County Commissioners for December 8th is now called to order. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a short prayer? Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless our country, bless this county, and may this meeting be conducted in a way that's pleasing to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Welcome, faithful. Have the commissioners had time to review the minutes of the last meeting?
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are accepted by a vote of 3-0. Have the commissioners reviewed the claims?
Make a motion to accept claims presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Have the commissioners reviewed the payroll?
Make a motion to accept payroll as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to accept the payroll, 3-0. And it does not look like Mr. Murphy is here. So we have no update tonight from the EDC. Moving right on to agreements. We have a irrevocable standby letter of credit from Bellflower Solar, and I believe that's been reviewed by you, Joel.
I have reviewed it, yeah, and I find it acceptable.
Make a motion to accept the letter of credit for Bellflower as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to accept the irrevocable standby letter of credit with Bellflower Solar passes 3-0. We have another agreement with Malinowski Consulting Incorporated. It's an agreement that we have had for several years. I just have one question about this. Looks like we're entering into a 3-year agreement. Is that how we normally do it? Okay.
We have to do a cost allocation plan, and they're the one that takes care of all of our 4D stuff, and they also do our cost allocation plan as well.
So this is a 3-year agreement for $6,060 a year. And the total of 3 years is $18,180.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next item is a prime agreement with Sjca. We've already signed the agreement. However, there is a one-page signature page that we did not sign. We signed at the bottom of the document, so we need to re-sign with this agreement we have with Sjca, and this agreement is for the solar farm that's going in. They will be responsible for going around and evaluating any road damage around that area through the whole about 1 year of construction of that project. Any discussion by the commissioners?
You're not going to make us sign it again, are you, Perry?
I'll make a motion to accept the supplemental to the prime agreement, task order number 3, supplemental to the prime agreement as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. We have, I believe it is 4 easements between the county and the city.
Next on the list is the bonds.
I don't see it on my list.
Union County Republican Party? It's
Well,
the
I'm
bonds
here.
right here. Oh, you added, oh, okay. I didn't realize you added it up there. It was at the bottom of mine.
These agreements, easements, have to do, I believe, with the sewer line.
It looks like it's the sewer line for the jail project, and actually, I looked through these. It's actually 4 copies of one easement.
It's 4
It's
copies
4
of the
copies
same
of one
thing.
easement. Yeah, I looked, and the legal descriptions on all 4 are the same, so it's the same easement that actually, it's just one easement. It looks like it's in the area where the jail project would be.
Okay, this is for the new sewer line that's going from the existing
This would be 2.
prison.
It's 2 agreements.
It's actually 2, one's sewer, one's water.
Okay.
Yep. Good catch, Debbie. Yeah. Yep,
We'll sort that out later.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept the easements as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to accept and pass these easements passes 3-0. We have 2 bonds to approve for the Henry County Republican Party, one for the president and one for the treasurer. They are bonded. Let me see if there's an amount here. Not to exceed $12,000. Do I have a motion to accept these bonds?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the bonds passes 3-0. And now Angela. We have some renewals of appointments to the Henry County Board of Trustees for Henry County Health. I don't believe there are any new appointments. Angela has a list of the renewals.
We're just kind of clearing up one appointment from last year that renewed over, and then the rest of them are for this year. We have no new appointments. We've got Dr. John Miller as the health officer. We have former physician Wiley McLaughlin and Dr. Joshua Underhill, Mr. Jerry Cash, Mrs. Karen Blessinger, and Steve Warner. And then these are just the certificate of appointment renewal forms for the State Board of Health.
But their terms don't end until, their terms aren't ending at the end of this year.
Let's see.
I thought we,
Yeah, Dr. Miller was, and then we renewed that.
oh, you okay?
Yeah, there were most of them are. Steve's is the one that, I don't know, I just ended up losing that paper last year, imagine that. But yeah, these are all renewals for the next step.
I make the motion to approve the renewals of the Public Health Board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
one in there
hospital
for the
board
hospital
also.
board. Did you see that one? Yeah, right there.
Okay, that's a separate board then.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just read this letter from Henry Community Health. Dear Henry County Commissioners, as you know, each year the Henry County Commissioners appoint a member to the Board of Trustees, Board of Henry Community Health, or Hospital, pursuant to Indiana Code IC 16-22-2. Specifically, the seat now occupied by Marion Bud Shore is up for renewal. Bud was first appointed to the hospital board on January 1st, 2006, and has served for 16 consecutive years. In addition to Bud, the hospital board currently consists of Sheldon Dines, Debbie Ware, and myself, John Pidgeon. The hospital's success is due in great part to our board. The board has a broad base of knowledge needed in the hospital's operations, a good understanding of the community's needs, and a willingness to spend time to understand issues and express its thoughts and advice concerning those issues. Board members should collectively have a broad base of knowledge and expertise on which HCH can rely. They must also be willing to engage with the hospital as well as the community and share their wisdom. Bud has a willingness to continue to serve, and I believe he will continue to be a valuable and trusted member of the hospital's board. Given current opportunities and challenges for our hospital, I request, this is Mr. Pidgeon, that you appoint Bud Shore for another 4-year term. Any discussion by the commissioners?
I make a motion to appoint Bud Shores to the hospital board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to appoint Bud Shore passes 3-0. We have to make an appointment to the cemetery board. Donna Tauber has been on the board for 20 years. She would like to continue on the board. No other person has applied to be on this board. Is there any discussion by the commissioners?
Make a motion, we accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Donna Tauber is appointed to the cemetery board by a vote of 3-0. We have several reports. The Weights and Measures report for November, the Intect October report, Treasurer's report for October, and we have 2 items from IDEM announcing a bridge project on State Road 109 over Montgomery Creek. And another one is a general information application for a sanitary sewer extension. Any questions about the reports?
I make a motion to accept the reports as presented.
Second.
All those in favor of accepting the reports?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to accept reports passes 3-0. We have 3 bids, 3 quotes. The sprinkler system at the YOC building in the park has gone out. We have done considerable research and sought out bids for the last month and a half or so, and we have 3 bids right now. One is from Baston Lodging. Their bid to repair the sprinkler system is $14,754. We have a, excuse me, another bid from Ryan Fire Protection for $140,975, which sounds quite a bit higher than the other bid. I guess should be some explanation for that.
I believe that was that they were redoing everything versus just replacing and repairing the motor.
Yeah, Ryan put in a bid that would have given a lot of repairs that we found out later were actually not totally necessary at this time. The third bid we have is from Industrial Fire Service, and their bid is for $19,047. Is there any discussion by the commissioners?
The only thing I have is there was a recommendation that when we do this, that we put a battery backup sump pump in the pit where the pump and motor are located, because that was part of the damage that was done years ago to that pump, was that pit flooded and the sump pump didn't work. So I think that we ought to include a battery backup sump pump to be placed in that pit. And also, if we want to expedite, if the bid is accepted for Baston Logan for an extra $850, they can expedite the pump and parts to us or to them for, I think it was 5 days, which would cut down on the length of time it takes to get the project done.
Do we have a cost on the battery back sump pump?
I have not. That was something, it was an afterthought that possibly should be done, so that's something we can look into later, but I just wanted to make that as a suggestion. By the time this project's done, we probably ought to have that installed.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to accept one of these bids?
I make a motion to accept Baston Logan's bid.
And Steve, do you want to, with the additional $850 for expediting the pump?
I believe if that's okay with the other commissioners,
Yes.
I would
You have to
say
make
that.
it a part of your motion.
Yeah, just
Okay,
add
I'll make
to
that
the
a part of my motion. We spend the extra $850 to expedite that in 5 days.
I will second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Mr. Rust is not here. He was going to speak, and I believe Mr. Copeland is going to speak for him.
Good evening.
Joe, could you move your microphone over?
What I'm here about, Steve asked me, he couldn't be here this evening. He's got contracts for section corner perpetuation, redoing the section corners. So he is required to do so many a year. And he does this every year. And my understanding is there's two contracts, one with Sjca and one with USI Consultants. And I believe both of them are a maximum fee not to exceed $15,000. Yes. So all he's asking for is approval to approve the contract and sign it so he can get them scheduled and get that done in 2022.
Yeah, I've looked at it, and it's basically just similar to the SJCA addendum, where it's just an addendum to cover this service.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Did you have something for the highway department on
Yes,
the
sir.
bid results?
I'll move right into that. Annual bids. I've reviewed them, looked at all of them, made some phone calls, and I'd sent out a list of ones that I'd recommended, but there was one that I had to yet get information on, and that was liquid asphalt. So I'll send it handy out. This is the updated, latest and greatest. I needed Joel's help on liquid asphalt. Let me go through and read all of them for you.
Yeah, we want you to earn your money today.
I guess
Okay. I'll make it
primarily
quick.
we're interested in the ones that you feel like we should accept.
I'll make it quick. Item 1 was gasoline. Item 2 was diesel fuel number 1. Item 3 was diesel fuel number 2. And item 4 was diesel fuel number 2 off-road. We had one bidder, Falmouth Farm Supply, and I would recommend they accept those for the fuel.
Do you want us to go accept each one individually or everything as agreed?
Whichever Joel would prefer.
I think you could go ahead and do these as Joe presents it. You can accept the Falmouth bids with respect to gasoline and diesel fuel.
I make a motion to accept the 4 items of gasoline, diesel fuel 1, 2, and off-road as presented for Falmouth Farm Supply.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. Item 5 is liquid asphalt. We had 2 bidders, Asphalt Materials and Marathon Petroleum Company. I had 2, well, number 1, there are restrictions with Marathon to go to their plant and pick up material. Those restrictions are really restricted. They want insurance, proof of insurance with them added as an additional insured, and they want to indemnify and hold harmless, and I had Joel review the document, and yeah, he said that it's just too much for a county to be able to do that. So we would not be able to go to their facility to pick up, and their facilities in Indianapolis and Cincinnati and Louisville. During the winter, their particular Indianapolis plant is closed. Okay, so we wouldn't be able to pick up anything there during the winter. We'd have to go to either, probably Cincinnati, the way they put it in their bid. They do not have what we call APME emulsion, and that's asphalt patching machine emulsion. Okay, that's what we predominantly use. They've used it for years. Marathon does not have that available, and they do not have a product for dust lay either. So if we wanted to use dust lay, we would have to use what they call an AEPL. And the difference between dust lay and AEPL, dust lay will dry overnight. AEPL will not. It's about 2 days. So there's a lot more problems with vehicles trying to run down the road with it. But anyway, I would recommend, for those reasons, Asphalt Materials.
Make a motion to accept Asphalt Materials for liquid asphalt.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. Item number 6 is Asphalt Pavement Materials and Miscellaneous. We have 2 parts to this. One is FOB plant, in other words, picked up at the plant. And we had, the bidders were CGS Services, E&B Paving, Milestone Contractors, R-Mix LLC, and Irving Materials. I would recommend accepting all bids and use low bid dependent upon product-specific need, availability, and proximity to the project. And the second part of that is furnished, delivered, and placed hot mix asphalt. We had 3 bidders, CGS Services, E&B Paving, and Milestone Contractors. I would recommend to accept all bids and use the low bid dependent upon proximity to the project. Anything over 12 miles inside the county they'll charge more for. So if they have to travel more than 12 miles, and their plants are what, Richmond and Daleville, Muncie, and Morristown.
I make a motion, we accept bids as presented by Joe.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Item number 7 is crushed stone. We had bids from Irving Materials, Rush County Stone, U.S. Aggregates, and Greensboro Sand and Gravel. I would recommend we accept all bids. That's per state law. We're allowed to do that.
Make a motion to,
accept.
okay, go ahead. Go right ahead. You're good, go.
Repeat it again? I make a motion, we accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Item number 8 is gravel and sand. We had 4 bidders, CGS Services, Irving Materials, U.S. Aggregates, and Greensboro Sand and Gravel. I would recommend to accept all bids.
Make a motion to accept all bids.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
The next item is number 9, pipe and miscellaneous. We had 2 bidders. One is E3 Bridge and the other is Metal Culverts, Inc. Metal Culverts, Inc. is out of Missouri, actually, and they truck that pipe. They bid pipe, steel pipe. I would recommend to accept Metal Culverts for pipe. They were considerably lower. And E3 Bridge for geotextile fabric and geogrid.
I make a motion, we accept.
They're lower coming out of Missouri?
Yeah, can you believe it? Considerably.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 9 passes 3-0.
Item number 10 is pre-engineered, prefabricated bridges. We had 2 bidders, E&H Bridge and Grading and E3 Bridge. I would recommend accepting E&H Bridge. They were low bid.
I make a motion, we accept E&H Bridge and Grading.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion for item 10 passes to accept E&H Bridge 3-0.
Item number 11 was treated timber bridge, salt storage building, and rail system. We got no bids. I was suspecting we would get one, but we didn't. So, item number 12, dump truck rental. We had 4 bids: Pritchett, CGS Services, Greensboro Sand and Gravel, and Swoveland Excavating. I would recommend to accept all bids and use the low bid dependent upon availability and proximity to the project. So I would go through the lowest bid and then the next highest bid and then the next highest bid until we got the number of trucks we needed.
I make a motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 12 passes 3-0.
And that's all of it.
Although Debbie did receive you received a bid. Oh, you gave it to him. Okay, what's for the 11?
Past due. I don't know why. I thought I'd sent him a bid. I saw him at the
Oh,
conference.
it was for this, he was just late.
He was late, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I had no idea what was coming up.
Here's the, you'd asked about prices from Missouri. Here's a breakdown spreadsheet of prices comparing E3 Bridge and Metal Culverts. Considerable difference. And those prices for metal culverts is guaranteed for the year. Or we wouldn't have accepted.
Wow.
So
It's just amazing that from Missouri you get,
I get patch mix from Pennsylvania. Oh, that's another one I need to add. I forgot to put in there. From Pennsylvania, for $125 a ton. And I don't know how they can truck it that far. Because Milestone charges $135 a ton. So, and it's good material. So. Is there any questions?
Thank you, Joe.
All right, thank you.
Next item is do we have any report from the health department? Angela gone?
No, you did hers already, she's gone.
She's gone. Nobody here from the park. Next item is the request for bids for the lease of some county farm ground, and Commissioner Dellinger has been working on that, so.
Yeah, we're going to put out for bids. There's approximately 24, 25 acres, more or less, for the next 2 years for cash rent. Did want to include that there is an easement from the gas company on the, I believe it's the south side of Garner Street. And I think the basis of crop damage payment would be roughly $1,597.14. But this won't be done until the summer, so there will definitely be some crop damage. But the payment can be made either prior to, during when crop damage is done, or it can be paid at the end of the year. That would be up to whoever winds up being the successful bidder on the ground. So we just need to have a motion, have that advertised, I would say probably by the end of January, no later than that, to accept bids for the next 2 years.
Steve, I looked at the copies that are in here, and actually, I think there are some more recent versions of this project I've worked on. I can send those to you, and there are a couple other issues that have come up with this that I'd like to talk to you about before we put it out. No, it's not going to hold it up. I'll just want to get your thoughts on how to approach the issue.
Okay, because, yeah, I just knew that it had expired, and it
Yeah.
usually is done in, I think it was during the summer months in July, but I wasn't even aware that it had expired this year.
Yep.
So,
we can table it till next meeting.
Yeah, I think, or you could authorize Steve to work with me on getting something put together with the goal of having bids for the second January meeting.
I make a motion to what Joel said.
Okay.
Yeah,
second.
to authorize Steve to work with Joel to get this worked out for the bids.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next item is bidders for fuel for the Sheriff's Department. Bids are out already.
No, and that's, I gave you guys the wrong paper. The bids bids are accepted the 17th.
Accepted until the 17th.
Okay,
Accepted
but
till the 17th, and then for you guys to review on the 23rd,
22nd, and then,
22nd, whatever your next meeting is.
right, and, but the bids are already out, and they have until the 17th to turn it in. Okay. Last item on the itinerary is Mr. Ray.
So I gave you a previous letter that talks about healthy communities would like to make a food and beverage tax project application to construct a trail from the Wilbright Trail up to Garner Street, across Big Blue, across Garner Street, and into the east side of county-owned all these are county-owned parcels, and try to use as much as the interurban to connect the Wilbright Trail to Memorial Park as well as Raintree Heights. And this is in our trails plan. And in fact, back in 2005, we even submitted a project back then to NDOT to even work on this kind of project. So it wasn't accepted, and we were still working on the Wilbright Trail Phase 1 anyway. So wanted to see if that was okay. You have the letter in front of you, and ask for your approval to be able to utilize the parcels that are there on the east side of State Road 3. We will have to cross State Road 3, and I've already talked to NDOT about that last month, and they did approve the crossing using a hawk signal, which is it's much like our button here and using it downtown Newcastle here. It's user button, and then it will stop traffic, and then they can cross, and then it goes back green then. So that's how we would be able to get across State Road 3.
Can we get a letter from them stating that they've approved that?
Yes, I will.
I'm okay with A and B.
Right?
C, until we get confirmation from NDOT, I don't want to approve anything that I want to see it from NDOT.
Okay.
I know that you were already a part of the READY grant, and this is just me speaking, I can't make any promises of ARP because I'm not a singular one. There's other people involved with the ARP. Can't
Right.
just say, hey, we're going to consider, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm okay with A and B for right now to get you moving forward.
Okay.
Not necessarily against C, D, and E, but I could make a motion to do A and B.
And I guess the only question I have is any of this ground the same ground that you're renting out?
No.
Okay. But I guess that'd be the only other thing to confirm, because if you rented it out to a farmer and then all of a sudden they're building a trail.
Yeah, it's all just
Okay.
on the east side of State Road 3, and it's still using the old interurban corridor as much as we can. So all the farm ground that's been rented is
Okay.
either further south on Garner Street, or it's east of the old interurban corridor.
Okay, yeah, that'd be my only caution. It's like I said, you'd have somebody pretty upset if they agreed to lease this and all of a sudden they're building a trail.
And they have to cross, they would have to cross, if we got the project, then there would still be access for the farm equipment by the softball diamonds
Okay.
to cross into those fields, knowing that that's right there. So
Okay.
that part of that would be accommodating for the farm equipment, which means we would be utilizing concrete
Okay.
and
So
not asphalt.
they actually put a red light in there, a
Yes.
stoplight.
Yes.
What are you doing at Garner Street at the bridge? Doesn't the trail go down here along Garner Street, crossing Blue River?
Yes. So
So-
we're still discussing with Perry on that project to see what all that entails, but that's what we're that's why I've already engaged with him to discuss all of that and see what we have to get done. And so that's still an ongoing process at this point with the utilities that are there. And he just told me before the meeting we would be sitting down, the three of us, and discussing all of that and seeing what the likelihood of being able to get that done on the south side of Garner Street.
So I'll say, because that would be my next question, because Joe and I had a conversation about the gas line that runs down through there being in our right-of-way, and I wanted to make sure that we weren't involved with having to get a gas line moved, because obviously that's a lot of money that we don't have.
Right.
So, and I don't know if that's in the way of that right-of-way or not.
Okay. Everybody's looking and pointing to you, Perry.
We're getting like day by
just said what you'd support. I don't think there's any motion that was made, yeah. Yeah, yep.
You made a motion to accept the A and B?
I think you indicated you'd support A and B, but I don't think there was ever a motion that was
I
made.
said I would support A and B, but I don't think
Yeah.
I made a motion.
Right, right.
What is this application with NDOT?
Just to make sure that we're clarified right now, I'm just going to take back, rescind any motion that I may or may not have made, just for clarity, and then we'll move on.
You have to make application to NDOT to get permission to go across Route 3?
I guess so, because I've already talked with them and they approved the idea of this crossing happening. And so there'll have to be additional meetings, but they have approved that we can cross State Road 3 in the area that,
Right, we all would feel more comfortable if we have a go-ahead, because that is adding an additional stop on a state highway.
right.
If the state, if.
Only when there's somebody crossing with the truck.
Right.
Otherwise, there's no stop.
Yeah, I would feel more comfortable saying that NDOT has said that, yes, this is a go, not that, yes, you can do an application. Have they said, yes, this project, this is how much it's going to cost, and yes, we're going to do it?
Well,
They've given you a letter that
They-
says
they-
yes?
they- When I met with them by Zoom, they said, yes, we will support the crossing of State Road 3 with this project, with this trail project. And they gave me what kind of hawk signal it would have to be. The possible cost would be somewhere around $60,000 to $75,000, and that would be paid for by the project. And then once that project is finished, then they take ownership of that, because it's crossing this, a state highway. So if there's damage to it or signage right there, then they are responsible for maintaining that, because it's within their right of way. But they won't pay for it. We would have to pay for it with the project that we're proposing. So we're working on all of those costs to know what that cost, the total cost would be. But we know this is going to be somewhere less than $100,000 for the hawk signal.
I just want to make sure we're not getting the cart before the horse, because we don't have NDOT approval of.
But they gave me approval that they would approve if the project was granted by Food and Beverage, that they are approving the crossing for the project.
I would feel more comfortable seeing all the documentation of that. I'm not saying that they didn't. I would just feel more comfortable seeing it all laid out of what they said they would do, and they approve it. With that said, I'm going to make a motion to table this until we have further information.
I'm still, what I was trying to do here was just getting your approval to utilize the county-owned parcels for the trail project. So if we have to also, so you're saying we have to include,
Listed in here for us to. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in here listed for us to agree to, besides just the use of the county parcels.
sure, it's because but as you say, you were uncomfortable with A and B at this point. But I'm more than happy to get all the documentation from NDOT. I know you have one more meeting, and then the application is due January 10th, something like that. So that's after the first meeting in January, but we're spending a lot of time putting together the project and application and filling everything out and finishing all the cost estimates and all that.
You guys have a meeting December 22nd.
Yeah, can you have all that to us for the next meeting?
All just
The documentation from NDOT.
Sure, I'll try. If the two guys that I discussed this with are around, because they could be on vacation, but I did have a meeting with them, and they approved the process to cross, so I'll do what I can to have it here for the 22nd.
So there's a motion on the table to table till the 22nd.
I'll second that for now. I mean, I don't have a problem, like you said, A and B, but I'll second the motion.
And
We
you
have a
know,
motion and a second to table this until December 22nd. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 3-0.
okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Doesn't look like there's too many people that would want to make public comment. Is there anyone? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Joe, did you need us to sign these?